Join Kids Hut family.
Tia, I have good news.
Really? What is it, Tofu? Tell me quickly.
I have the option to become a part of either of the teams. Both teams want me for the next week's match.
That's wonderful. So, what have you decided?
I haven't decided as yet, Tia. I'm thinking I should see which of the two teams does better in the next few games. Then I will join the winning team.
That's not the right approach, Tofu. It shows you to be cunning and disloyal.
Why?
Well, let me tell you the story of the bat, the beast, and the birds. The bat, the beasts, and the birds. Once upon a time, in a dark jungle, there broke a dangerous fight between the beasts and the birds.
We will not tolerate the beasts anymore. They feed on us, make preys out of our children, and behave as if they are the rulers of the jungle.
Yes, we agree with you, our leader.
But we need more support from other birds. Currently, we are losing. We must reach out to every bird in the jungle to join our army. We shall find strength in numbers. What do you say, Minister?
Everybody has agreed. We just need to ask the bats now. I am sure the bats will help us win.
Very well then. Invite the leader to our court.
The bat leader was invited to the court of the leader of the birds.
Bat, we are in a war against the beasts. Why don't you join us?
The bat leader wasn't sure that it wanted to join an army that was losing.
I am honored by your offer, but I am afraid I cannot join you. I am, after all, a beast.
A few days passed. The beasts started losing.
We need to grow our army, otherwise the birds will defeat us. They drink from our lakes, live in our trees, yet they behave as though they have more rights on the jungle than us. Minister, who can help us win? My leader, the only ones who have not joined the fight as yet are the bats. We could ask them to join us. Very well. Invite the bat leader to our court.
And so the bat leader was invited to the beast's court.
Bat, the war between the bird and the beasts of the forest is at its peak now. Whoever wins this last battle shall win the war and rule over the jungle. Why don't you join us and help us win? You too will rule the jungle along with us.
But the bat was once again unsure that it wanted to join the losing side with the beasts.
I am honored by your offer, but I cannot join you as I am a bird.
Just before the final battle was to take place, both the bird and the beast leaders met. They were both upset by the losses their armies were suffering and decided to make peace with one another. The war was called off.
We will not fight anymore.
Yes, we will live in peace now.
The whole jungle celebrated the new peace in the land. When the bat leader heard of this development, he went to the birds and asked to be a part of the celebration. But the bird leader remembered how the bat leader had refused to help the birds during the war and turned him and his kind away. No bird would even talk to them now. The bat leader knew that if he took his people to the beasts, they would simply tear them apart. And so he did not approach them. Hence, he and his entire kind lived in isolation without any friends in the jungle.
Oh, I don't want to be alone, Tia.
In that case, Tofu, you should not behave cunningly like the bat leader, and you should inform the team that you want to join right away.
Yes, Tia, I will do that right away. Thank you, Tia, for making me understand this. Tia, today Jim and I had a fight.
Oh, that's bad. What happened? I thought Jim is your friend.
He was, but today he did not support me on the poster competition concept I wanted to present to my teacher. He thought that it might be too easy. He is my friend. He should have agreed with me instead of behaving like Tom and Ben, who are always mean.
Was he right?
Yes, he was. The idea was too easy, but still, he should have agreed with what I was saying.
Oh, Emperor Tofu, that is very bad.
Why are you calling me Emperor?
Because you are behaving like this emperor from my story. Once upon a time, there lived an emperor. He was not particularly smart or intelligent, but because he was the emperor, people feared him and always agreed with whatever he said. They used flattery to avoid his wrath and win his trust.
Your Majesty, as always, you are right.
Your Majesty, you have made the wisest decision possible.
Because the emperor was so foolish, he never understood the difference between an honest compliment and flattery. He thought that his public loved him and that he was the best. He lived in his ego and vanity. One day, his head minister, who was truly a wise man, disagreed with him in open court.
Your Majesty, it is my humble suggestion that you hear the public's troubles before increasing the tax burden further. Doing so will make you a more beloved king.
What are you saying, head minister? Do you mean that our wise king is not good enough?
The foolish king, who was blinded by all the flattery and not used to people disagreeing with him, also agreed.
Yes, head minister. How dare you doubt my decision? As a punishment, I remove you from the position of head minister.
Disgraced by the events of the day, the head minister went home sad. When he reached home, he saw that his nephew, who was a tailor, had come to visit him from another town. Just like his uncle, the nephew was a wise man. The head minister told him what had happened in court.
Don't worry, uncle. One day, emperor's vanity shall crash.
The next day, the nephew went to see the king. He pretended to hold a piece of garment in his hand and said to the emperor,
Your Majesty, I have just returned from my travels around the world. When I was in Old Market of Persia, I saw this beautiful piece of cloth and immediately thought of you. I have brought it with me to make a new robe for you. It is the most beautiful cloth ever made.
The emperor could not see the cloth, but his ego did not allow him to confess it. He looked at the remaining ministers and asked them what they think of the cloth. The ministers couldn't see the cloth either, but decided to lie to the emperor again.
It is very beautiful, sir.
Yes, I agree. It will look fantastic on you.
Though the king could not see the cloth, he thought that since his ministers thought that it would look very nice on him, he would go ahead and order for it.
Yes, it is beautiful indeed. Go ahead, tailor. Make the most beautiful robe that you have ever made. I will wear it for my birthday parade, which is 10 days from now.
Yes, Your Majesty. You will have it on your birthday.
And so the fateful day came. It was the emperor's birthday. The tailor went to the palace early morning, pretending to hold a robe in his hand. Throughout, he behaved like he was carrying something beautiful and delicate.
Here is your robe. Since it is a delicate material, it is best not to wear anything under it."
The emperor agreed and took off his underclothes. The nephew went on to pretend as if he was helping the emperor wear the robe. Just then, the king's two favorite ministers came into his chambers. They were shocked to see the emperor stand like that without any clothes on. "How does my robe look, ministers?"
You look so handsome, Your Majesty.
Majesty, you are looking very nice.
Still unable to see the robe himself, the king believed what his ministers had told him and ordered the parade to start. The whole kingdom had gathered for the emperor's birthday and had lined up on the streets to see his new robe. But just as the king appeared in public without any clothes on, the crowd fell silent. Everybody was wondering what had happened to the emperor, but no one dared to say a thing. They just stared at him as he made a complete fool of himself. Till one small child called out to his mother,
Look, Mom, the emperor is not wearing any clothes.
No longer able to contain itself, the entire crowd burst into peals of laughter. They held their stomach and pointed at the emperor as they made fun of him. The emperor looked at the guilty faces of his ministers. And sad face of his head minister, who was upset to see the king being made fun of. The emperor understood how foolish he had been and what his mistake had been. He fired the two ministers and reinstated the head minister. From then on, when anyone gave him a compliment, he humbly listened to it and absorbed it only if it was genuine. With the honest guidance of his head minister, he went on to become a truly great emperor for his people.
Ouch, Tia. I think I had become the egoistic emperor. I owe an apology to my friend Jim. What do you think?
Yes, and you also need to learn to accept feedback and not get carried away by compliments.
Yes, Tia, but I must wish you good night for now.
Good night, Tofu. Tofu,
Oh, hey, Tia.
your friends didn't stay?
Oh, no. They were just talking about how much fun they had today pulling Ken's leg.
Ken? Isn't he the new boy who joined school?
Yes, he the smallest amongst all. Everybody is taller than him, so it is easy to pick on him.
Just like the ant, is it?
The ant?
Yes. The Elephant and the Ant. Once upon a time, there lived a huge elephant in a jungle. Because he was so much bigger than all the other animals, he always troubled them. In the same jungle, there lived a family of ants. They were a hard-working family who always kept to themselves. In the day, they would go to gather food. One day, as they were going, the big, mean elephant threw water on them.
Hey, what's the matter with you? Why do you keep troubling others?
Oh, shut up, you tiny ant. One more word out of you, and I will walk all over you and kill you.
The little ant had no choice. It kept quiet and went on its way.
You shouldn't pick a fight with the elephant. He is very ill-tempered and very, very strong. He could crush you. Something needs to be done about it.
The next day, when the ants were going to work, the tiny ant decided to teach the elephant a lesson. She quietly climbed onto the elephant and made its way to the elephant's trunk and entered it. Once inside, she started biting the elephant.
Oh, that hurts.
The elephant tried everything, but it couldn't get the ant to stop biting him or come out of its trunk. Such a big elephant became useless in front of the tiny ant.
Please stop. Stop it now.
Well, I hope now you know how others feel when you hurt them.
Yes, I do. Please stop now.
Very well then.
And so the ant stopped biting the elephant and came out of its trunk.
I am sorry. I have understood how bad I made others feel. I promise I will never ever do it again.
Oh, what, Tofu?
I understand what we were doing wrong.
You do?
Yes, we shouldn't make fun of Ken just because he's smaller than us all.
I'm glad you realized that, Tofu.
Yes, and I'm going to apologize to Ken the first thing tomorrow and get others to do the same too. Thank you, Tia, for teaching me this.
She bounced at the first sight of mice. The mice were taken by surprise.
Our brothers have been attacked and eaten up by the snake that the grocer has brought. We all should be careful from now on.
Tofu, it's your friend Kim. She needs some help from you.
Tell her I'll call her later.
Kim, Tofu will call you back.
Families from the store.
Why didn't you talk to her, Tofu?
I'm watching TV. I don't want to talk to her right now.
But she needed your help.
That's okay. If it's urgent, she can call someone else.
She's called the second time and you've refused to talk to her. That's mean, Tofu. Especially because I remember how she was always there when you needed help from her.
What difference does it make?
Hear it for yourself. It was Christmas Eve and Mary was waiting for her Uncle Peter. Each year he gave her a present on this day. Hello, Mary. Wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Uncle. Merry Christmas to you too. Wow, it's a nutcracker. It's so lovely. Let me put it in the cabinet with my other toys.
That night, when Mary was sleeping, a sound woke her up.
What's that? Mice! So many of them!
Mary saw that there were many, many mice running around on the floor of her room. And there was a stranger, that was the Mice Queen, who had 7 heads.
Oh no! Am I dreaming? How can this be?
Mary is in trouble. Friends, let's go to her rescue. The brave Nutcracker spoke to all the soldiers that stood with him in the cabinet. The soldiers found courage in the Nutcracker's charge, and they drew out their swords and jumped out of the cabinet. All of them attacked the mice with their swords, guns, and sugar cannons. But soon the Nutcracker was surrounded by mice. I'm surrounded. I can't free myself.
Oh no! The Nutcracker!
Seeing the Nutcracker surrounded, Mary took one of her shoes and sent it flying at the mice. But before she could see what happened, she fainted. The next morning, she woke up and found herself in her own bed. She tried explaining to everyone what had happened, but no one believed her.
Oh, why won't anyone believe me? I saw the mice and the seven-headed queen with my own eyes. I even saved the Nutcracker.
I believe you, Mary. I believe everything you've just said. I'll tell you an interesting story about the Nutcracker toy.
About my toy?
Yes, many years ago, there lived a mice queen in the Toyland's King's Palace. One day, she lost 7 of her sons to the traps laid by the king's men in the castle.
Oh no!
The angry queen cursed the princess and turned her into an ugly princess. The spell could be broken only if she could break the hardest nut.
The poor princess. What happened then, Uncle?
The Nutcracker prince helped the princess break the hardest nut. As soon as he had done that, the spell was lifted off the princess. However, the spell shifted on to the prince and he became ugly.
The princess must have felt so sad.
Quite the opposite. She forgot all about the prince, how he had helped her, and she chased him away. Later, Mary went to her room and looked at the Nutcracker. She now looked at him in a different light. And before she knew, she loved him. One day, the doorbell rang very early morning. Mary went to see who it was. It was a very handsome young boy.
Hello. How can I help you?
Hello, Mary. I am the Prince of Toyland.
How can that be? You were cursed by the Mice Queen to be an ugly Nutcracker.
Your true love towards me has lifted the spell of me and made me handsome once again. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Mary said yes and became the Princess of Toyland. She lived with the prince happily ever after.
I am being the princess who forgot the Nutcracker prince. Am I not?
Absolutely, Tofu. Kim's always been there to help you. And now, when she needs your help, you're ignoring her.
Oh, I feel terrible about the way I have behaved. Let me call up Kim and help her.
Don't forget to apologize to her.
Thanks, Tia. I won't forget. For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Heart family. Subscribe here.